Hello, my friends. All right, we're getting started with um, our intention grid for what we're bringing in for 2026 calendar year. And the first thing I like to do is to light up a little smudge, smudge the area, smudge myself, just bringing that cleansing. That's what this is all about. We want to cleanse everything that we're using. The next thing I do, light a white candle. White candles for purity and cleansing. That's the beautiful part about this time of year, this changing in the calendar year, is that we usher in a fresh start. And I think that's beautiful because everyone deserves another chance to try again. The resilience that brings us success lies within that fresh start. And with that, we just start to bring in and our intention. I like to set the candle on the back. Next, I like to use grids. We have the Taurus, Metatron, and this is the flower of life. So with this, whenever I use this is for really community. So I like to send out to the community every time I'm doing a crystal grid. So I always put that on the bottom so that it makes this energy makes sure to reach it to the furthest folks out there, um, delivering love, abundance, and prosperity, gratitude. And then the flower of life. This encompasses everything, the seed of life, the chakras, all that exists. So we bring this in and then we cover it with the Taurus, which is just an energy grid. I could do entire videos explaining this, but this is how I set up. So it's going community, covering everything, and sending out energetically with these particular grids. Now, I personally like to set a mirror right in the center. With this, anything that is being sent to me that needs to be returned to the sender, I'm just gently and easily, graciously returning all that is not meant or for my highest good right back to wherever it came from. Okay. And next, I'm going to pull in the center of my grid. I'd like to put a tower. I felt very called to use fluorite this year. Again, we see this is like a rainbow fluorite, so it covers all of the chakras, and I feel like that's important. I like to have a tower in the center because that is then sending all of the energy that we're building up into the universe, out into the community, and everywhere that it needs to be. So I like to do that. Um, because I have my first acorn of the season. They always shrink a little bit, so I try to come on. There we are. Prosperity, abundance, my needs being met, nature bringing me all the signs that are meant for me. I like to put that on there. I also like to include a feather. May my heart be as light as a feather as I go into this next year, releasing all of the burdens that I may carry. Now, I like to set up my corners. So in the south, I'm bringing in white. I have a moon that I'm using there. The south is growing and learning, our paths of passion. In the north, I like to bring in blue. So we'll put some blue apatite. In the west, I bring in black. And in the east, I bring in red. The east is big new beginnings. And we know that we need to be grounded as we're moving into new things. With the blue apatite in the north, that represents that nurturing, wisdom, life, just that mental health and clarity that brings us to our successes. So I want to call that in. And I like to use a pyramid for the West because this is a place of release and rebirth and transformation. So, West is always where I look to release things. And I'm using that pyramid so that it is released straight up to the universe um, and gone. So, that is how I first begin to set up the corners. Next, um, I use cowrie shells a lot within my practice. So I like to put one for each of the corners. I have it up because this is a positive. This is yes. I'm saying yes, that these are the things that I want from the universe. And again, remember, there are lots of books, there are lots of ways that you can do this. Your grid may look completely different. I make grids sometimes that go clockwise and counterclockwise. Clockwise, we're putting that energy into the grid. Counterclockwise, we're pulling that energy out. So, there is no wrong way to do this. It is all about intention. So, next, I want to bring in some protection. This is a shell that I found at the beach. I'm going to bring that in um, by wisdom. I'm going to stick that over there. And I also have the starfish. I'm going to put the starfish right here. May we be resilient as the starfish. Starfish are, if they lose a leg, they grow another one, and they just keep going. They are an amazing creature. So I wanted to bring in that energy. And again, like I said, I'm doing a lot with self love this year. I spend a lot of time helping other people, and I love that. But sometimes you get tired and you don't do enough for yourself. And part of my goal is to make sure that I am not exhausting myself, and I am just keeping that radical self-love, making sure that my needs are met and my cup is filled so that I can then bring that out into the community. So I have some rhodonite, which I will stick on there as well. And that is like a hug from the universe, self-love. Um, and with that, I will also then add some rose quartz. Again, self love. And these are also bringing in the energy of healing that inner child. As we move into this self love and this self compassion and this unconditional love of self, which is so important and often just not ignored, but kind of suppressed because we get busy taking care of everyone else, right? I'm a grandmom, a mom, a wife, a business owner, a spiritual leader. So sometimes I don't put myself first, and first is where I need to be so that I can be here for everyone else. So I hope that that resonates. But a lot of that is rooted in my childhood, needing to care for others, being a people pleaser, trying to keep everything in perfect harmony so that there wouldn't be any fighting or all of those things. I don't have to list them all out because probably you can relate to them, and that's why you're watching this video right now. So I love rose quartz for healing that inner child, along with some quartz. And this is fire nice, so this is like an emotional type of quartz. We're just going to put that there to cool and warm. And that right there is the part of my grid that will reflect my work on wanting to bring in that path of my passion, that growing and that learning and being light as a feather and seeing that abundance and that resilience and that love of self, but also bringing it here. And it's right next to the black. So anything that needs to be cleared, it can just move because we're moving in a clockwork fashion, clockwise, when we're making this grid. So again, this may seem complicated. It may seem not familiar. There is no right or wrong way to do this. It is all about what's right for you. What crystals call to you. So my next thing that I want to bring in for myself and honestly for my clients too, we're all trying to balance that throat chakra, being able to speak from a place of authenticity and a place of love. And I just like to bring in some blue lapis. And I'm going to place that around the blue apatite. And again, that's that wisdom of life. So may we speak the words that others need us to tell them. May we speak to ourselves in the kindest and most effective way. May that speech empower us and bring us willpower, protect us. Next, I will lay some optical quartz. I'm going to put that around my new beginnings. May I see what is meant for me. May I move with grace as I surrender to everything that is waiting for me. As I ground into this present moment, I am able to take the blinders off and see with clarity the opportunities that lie around me. And may those opportunities bring us abundance. Let's get that on there. Oh, that feels good. I don't know if that feels good for you. Let's take a good look at it. See what you think. Yes. So next, in this release area, this rebirth, I want to lay out some crystals that are going to assist me in removing any negative stuff that perhaps I picked up during this last year. This last year was very trying for me. My son was in a car accident, whole lot of stuff. So lots of healing, lots of miracles witnessed. So I have these little smoky quartz hearts. I'm going to lay them on there. When he was in the hospital, we used a lot of smoky quartz. I had a huge, huge piece. So I'm going to lay this here with that release. And I actually have the giant piece of smoky quartz too. I'm just going to lay that right there. And this, you can just feel the clearing happening in the energy as we send, see the point, sends that away, sends that energy up. So we just wait and just know that all of that with intention is being cleared away. And that's absolutely beautiful. Okay, next, I'd like to use a little bit of carnelian. I like the carnelian, that path of passion. I'll put a little raw piece on there as well. Strengthen it up some. That is that growing. It's that emotions. It's that confidence to be who we are meant to be. That carnelian helps support. It helps us not have to wear the masks for approval and just be ourselves and be true to our authentic purpose. It lights that creative fire within that sacral chakra. Right. Now, I would like to place some Amazon. I can't speak, some amethyst. I'm goofy. We just had burritos for dinner, so my tummy is full and I'm ready to go to sleep. But it is way too early for that, and I'm excited to make my grid. So bear with me if I get off topic. So here we are with amethyst. These are raw points. They are beautiful. I do have a lot of them. So I'm going to just place these. Again, I'm going clockwise, placing them around the edge. Let's see. Where else might they need to go? Maybe back here as well. All right, so I'm using amethyst because it is an all around healing crystal. Um, it is that crown chakra. And, if you've worked with me at all, you know that I believe so much of that grounding at that root chakra is so important to open that crown chakra. So I want to just call in that healing all around for every aspect of what we are covering, from the self-love and inner child healing to the release, to bringing in that willpower and that third or that throat chakra, ushering in grounding, bringing in abundance. Next, I would like to add in a few more blues back here. This is a combination of blue flower agate and Caribbean calcite. So this is like, for me, speaking calmly, taking that moment, not reacting too quickly, giving ourselves a moment to think before we speak. That is what brings in so much healing. So I feel like that's super important. So I want to bring that in for next year. I have a couple of extra protection stones that I'm going to place in the center. So right there you see infinite serpentine. Serpentine is very, very helpful for protection and also protection of the heart, making sure that we're releasing what needs to go. We're getting rid of those walls that we've put up that keep us from feeling and expressing emotions. Um, I definitely think that that is something we can all work towards. I don't know if I told you, but for Christmas, I wrote little notes to everybody about, why they were special. And I wrote my husband a little love letter. And, it's emotional when we stop and sit down and do those things, but it's so important to be able to really express and really tell and really nurture others with the wisdom of life. And sometimes that wisdom is just how special they are. So perhaps that's something that might call to you. And I'm just going to put a nice little piece of selenite right there as well, nice and close to that inner child area, because selenite clears and cleanses, and that's what we're here to do tonight. So I got these really cute. Let me switch hands. Got these really cute crystals. They reminded me so much of like fireworks and all of the chakras and just that overwhelming healing. So I just like to kind of arrange those perhaps at the bottom. Just, you know, thinking about joy, thinking about all of the miracles that have happened this year, all of those chakras, that heart, that passion that we have. I'd just like to bring that in. Spirit wants us to have fun. We're supposed to be joyful. We're supposed to live in the moment and enjoy life. And that is what those crystals represent to me. Then again, that's just me. So we have that. Um, I have a couple of pieces of yellow fluorite that I am going to lay out. That is that solar plexus, that freedom to be who we are, that release of the trauma. And I just let that trauma, let that energy go there, feeling that willpower, strengthening my solar plexus, strengthening my confidence, bring me back to who I am, right? Because that's what we're here doing. We're remembering who we are. So I think that this is my grid. I did not use everything that I brought, but that's okay. There's, again, no rules, but this feels really good. And I just want to send this energy out to you for this new calendar year. I want to thank everyone that has been a part of my journey, the community out there. I send all of these blessings and intentions as we manifest 2026. Thanks so much for being here. Have a beautiful night. Be safe. I love you all. And I will see you tomorrow for a daily oracle pull. Bye bye.